Yo, 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 yo! What's up, everybody? I am back. It is me, the infamous Tom, bringing you another episode breakdown of MTV's The Challenge or of the Worlds 2, episode 8. We are on the midway point of the season, as we are told by TJ. Please remember at the end of the video, if you like what I'm saying, if you like what I'm producing, hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, write any comments anything that pops in your head while you're watching. Thank you all for watching, and let's get into it. We get a nice visual breakdown of the alliances. Cara breaks down who's aligned with who on her side on each team, along with Tori doing the same thing. CT and Kyle sit down and have a scene together where they talk, and the difference between them is that Kyle makes promises to too many people while CT makes no promises. I feel like both methods will end up hurting them at a certain point, especially with how tight we see Rogan and Joss are. And, you know, Kyle gets the bad end of it, making promises he can't fulfill to everybody. CT calls him out on it. Kyle tries to backtrack. But we all know Kyle's game, and it's a good game, like Paulie said, giving him credit. One of the best social games in the challenge ever. But people see through him this season, and making promises to everybody seems to be worse than making promises to nobody this season. Public service announcement: diabetes is a serious disease, and we should not joke about it. My name's Kyle, I have diabetes. We get to the daily challenge called Crate Expectations. There's 125 crates on one end, then there are 3 sections of hanging relics on the other end. Each team has to get these crates and build a tower tall enough for somebody to climb on top of and pull down the hanging relics. There are 12 relics. First team to collect all 12 relics and return their crates back wins. TJ announces it's a double elimination, 1 guy, 1 girl going home, so a lot is on the line. Advantages for the UK team going into this challenge: we hear Theo's height, definitely a great advantage. He's got at least 6 inches on the next tallest guy, so that's a huge advantage in this challenge where reaching is involved. Disadvantages: Team UK has 1 less player right now, along with Esther, which they're kind of playing like 1.5 men down. I love you, Esther, but you even know, you ain't got the endurance to keep up with everybody else. Advantages for the US team: obviously they have 1 more teammate. Disadvantage, if anything, it's the turmoil that would arise within the challenge within the team. We've seen in the last episode, everyone screaming at each other. They still won, but that could end up biting them in the butt if they, you know, keep that attitude. Like every other challenge pretty much this season, except the one, Team USA through. USA wins, they get an early lead, they don't really look back, and they beat Team UK once again. We haven't seen blowouts this bad since like the challenge Ruins, where it was like Vets versus Rooks, if I'm not mistaken, or Champions versus Challengers, sorry. Champions versus Challengers, where the Challengers could just not win anything, and they only won challenges when the Champions threw their own challenges to trim the fat, as we hear that term a lot in this episode. Team USA chooses Ashley as their spokesperson. She chooses Cara and Paulie, and she even says her reasoning where the blame would probably go more towards them since they're a couple rather than little old me. So, you know, Ashley's always got a good game plan, and she's once again impressing, at least me, in this season. You know, coming in with no friends and finding herself in the dominant alliance, even though she had a little bit of a hiccup when she voted in her own alliance in that Laurel episode, but they seem to have taken her back with open arms. Esther says she is nominating herself, just probably avoiding the inevitable, but she does have a lot of dignities, and she knows that she doesn't have the endurance that everybody else has on the team or in the whole challenge house. So she feels like it's her time to prove herself and go into elimination. While Team USA's goal is to keep the weakest people on Team UK team being Idris and Esther. Ninja plays messenger in kind of telling D that if Esther and Idris go in, the target is going to be on D's back because that's essentially betraying the alliance that Team USA has with D. I could sort of understand, and I think D, you know, did everything she could. Esther was nominating herself. She can't force Esther to stay in the house. And even if she did that, she can't force other people's votes to not be Esther. Like, everybody on the Team UK team wants Esther to go into elimination, even Esther. It's unrealistic for Caras Cult, as Georgia likes to say, to think that they can save Esther this week as well. They're getting lucky with saving Idris. Like, if Cara and Caras Cult really think they can save Esther from this elimination, they are truly delusional. And I know it's worth a shot, but I don't know, the way they did it, rubbed me the wrong way, which we'll get to, mostly at the club. The tribunal nominations go on, and Kyle gets blindsided. Like I said, Esther nominated herself, then it was the guys' time to decide, and no one would talk until Joss just couldn't take the awkwardness and just wanted to get it over with, rip it off like a band-aid, and he says Kyle because he doesn't know where he stands half the time. And Idris, on the other hand, is a loyal number to Joss and a weak player that they can maybe go against in the next guy's elimination, which could be next week, if they lose again, which is very likely. They're losing every time. So yeah, Kyle gets blindsided. He gets the majority votes. CT didn't even vote. So he got off free, even though it's kind of a bad look in my opinion to not vote on this one. He should have voted Kyle. Would have made Rogan a little more happier in my opinion. And Rogan and Joss seem to be running the alliance on the UK team, so you kind of want to be on their good side. The tribunal discussed amongst themselves real quick, and they decide it's either going to be Georgia and Rogan. Just kidding. They decide it's going to be Georgia and Theo or Rogan and D. So we get to the club. Usually don't talk about the club scene too much, but a lot went down in this one. Cara calls D's move by not convincing Esther to stay in the house and not nominate herself. She calls it a dumb move. And she could be exaggerating. I hope she is. If she really thinks that's a dumb move, then she's a dumb person. Oops, said it. Warning, Cara's gonna get some shit from me this episode. She pretty much gets it every episode, but I like to tone it down. Cara seems to be arguing with D, not really getting the best of her, so she decides to get her loudmouth friend Ashley over so they can gang up on her. That gang up mentality. You gotta love it. Real honorable, Cara. Then they both try and force a name out of D. They ask D who they should send in. Give us a name, give us a name. D's smart. She learned the game from Wes. He's smart. She is not gonna give them what they want. They are being rude to her. They are not letting her talk. Why would she compromise with them? She holds her ground. She says, vote me in if you want. Like, we had this alliance. I'm sorry I couldn't hold up my part of the bargain and force Esther to stay here after nominating herself while the whole team was going to vote for her anyway. Her composure was on point in this scene. I don't know if many other people would have handled it as well as she did. Water! You even hear CT kind of nod on Cara's side, and they're Boston homies, so that says a lot when CT's not on her side. He says that Cara should understand that Esther is a bigger anchor than she is a number. You know, that sums it up right there. Ninja was just sitting there the whole time. We've seen her and D's friendship blossom. They are best of friends in this house usually. But she does not speak up for D at all. She kind of doesn't even see where D is coming from. It's strange. She says in the interview that she's trying to tell D that she should have saw this coming if she couldn't save Esther, and that she could have prevented this. And I really don't think she could have prevented this. The whole UK team was okay with Esther nominating herself. If she did nominate herself, I guarantee everybody would have voted her in regardless. Ninja keeps saying she's trying to be the voice of reason, and the only voice of reason I hear is from D. She seems to be the only rational one, not living in La La Land like everybody else. There was a lot of overwhelming chatter towards D during the club scene, especially from Kyle afterwards. So big props to D for keeping her composure in that scene, in that state of mind. I mean, they were all drinking too, probably. They're at the club. Ninja and D do talk a little bit after the whole gang up on D. And Ninja starts crying, and I think she has this crazy superpower that enables her to cry while not giving a shit. It's pretty awesome. She refuses to see D's point of view and understand where D is coming from in this situation. And if you're like best friends with somebody, you should always consider their feelings and their point of view and listen to them, but Ninja just doesn't get it. The next morning, after that club scene, Ninja still not apologetic. You would think she's apologetic, but I suppose the voice of reason doesn't understand the reason of D's voice. But anyway, we get to the elimination. I think a majority of people watching would have rather seen Rogan versus Kyle, of course. They got some beef. They were even vendettas on the season vendettas, but Rogan went home first, so we didn't get to see that play out. But of course, we don't get what we want. We get Theo versus Kyle, you know, two heavy hitters going at it, and then Esther versus Georgia. They all vote Georgia. Cara tries to pull some lame excuse like, I'm returning the vote that you sent me, so we're even now, right? Georgia's smarter than that. The elimination is called Running Riots. There's an answer key with numbers on it indicating the order in which they need to put these objects, the object weight. That's the numbers on the answer key. So they have to put the objects in a certain order. These objects or relics weigh from like 10, 20 pounds, 50 pounds to 100, I think, for the guys. But yeah, very heavy both ways though. They have to get these relics from outside of the proving ground and bring them up, line them up in order according to the answer key. First one to do that wins. First up is Esther versus Georgia, and my girl Esther brings the heat. You know, these girls are giving Georgia a run for her money, and Georgia is no joke. She got to the final her first season. This is her, second elimination this season. Big T gave her a run for her money. Esther, you know, good job to the MTV casting, the challenge gods, for casting some people with heart. Georgia almost loses at the end. She has her lineup messed up, so she has to figure out which objects to swap. Well, but she figures that out before Esther is able to transfer all of her relics over. Amongst all the negativity and scheming and hatred in this house, Esther was truly a shimmering light in this challenge house. She was always smiling and found something in herself during this season of the challenge, which you can't say about a lot of other people. It's good to have a spot in these casts that is someone who necessarily isn't a beast with no personality, but just somebody always willing to try 100%, even if she comes up short. It's truly a breath of fresh air. I choked up for a second, not gonna lie, but I had to smack the man back into me because men don't cry, right? Right? Oh. Then next up is the guys, Kyle versus Theo. Kyle decides to do a different strategy. Everybody else in the elimination was carrying the heaviest objects first. Kyle decides to try to just get the light objects out of the way, gain a lead, maybe gas Theo out with the speed he's going at, and it looked like it was working. It really did. Thought Kyle had it in the bag. Theo was struggling, wasn't even running at some points, but as we saw, Kyle could not lift that, I believe it was the 100-pound relic. He just couldn't get it. He tried his hardest, but he was gassed out from all the other laps he had to take. Theo lifted the heavy relics first, so he didn't have to have that energy to lift 100 pounds at the end. So that really was the deciding factor in this. Who knows what would have went down if Kyle decided to do that strategy. I think Theo may have still beaten him out. But hey, great performance from the two of them. So that wraps it up for my episode 8 breakdown. Like I said, we're halfway through the season, people. Who do you got making it to the final? How many people are going to make it to the final? Who do you want to make it to the final? Let me know in the comments. Please like the video if you enjoyed what you saw and heard. Thank you for everybody that has subscribed, and feel free to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the love from you. And that's it. Peace out.